If we go to our animate characters tab, we have guides to create characters. Biped with dog-like guide, biped with dog-like guide, quadruped guide. We'll go through this in a few minutes. Let me show you how these work. If you're exporting for source, for example, Valve has, in the Valve plugin, we have a male rig, female rig, and a shadow rig. The biped guide, which is pretty similar to the biped guide in found in character. And then we create the rig from guide. How does it work? This is the same in both. So let's select biped guide, skeleton, what this pops out is a basic guide that you would match your skeleton proportions, your mesh proportions to the character. So the hand are larger, the necks taller, the head. Let's say this is your character. Then you have a set of options when you have to create a rig from biped guide. First thing you need to do is, instead of creating a quaternion spine, create a skeleton spine. And then even you have a shadow rigs option. You can create a null hierarchy. So when you hit OK, this will create a rig for you, even with the shadow rig. You might then think, why did we go through all this trouble of creating our own shadow rig and our own rig if this rig seems to work fine? So we can delete the guide. We have the biped rig and the shadow with the envelope group. So it works pretty similar to the one we did. It has more controls. Up vectors, we need to move them out. So, and then we have the shadow, which is the nulls. Great. This works great. This works great for, let's say, biped characters, humans. What if it's, let's say, a quadruped, like a lion, a tiger, a dragon, something else? Well, for that, we have the quadruped guide. The same thing in this guide. You modify all the proportion of your character. Let's say it's like this, something like that. The tail comes around here. Shape of the tail is like this, something like that. We do the same thing. Rig from quadruped guide. Shadow rigs, why not? Null hierarchy. I missed something. I created with the quaternion spine. Let me show you how that works. Instead of creating bones for the spine, it will create boxes. Which in this case, if we have a shadow rig, it works. Because we're going to be enveloping to our shadow rig like this. Works pretty well. But this would be a really good starting point for you. It has foot control, foot roll bones. this would definitely be a good starting point for you. But like I told you, the better you can understand how the rigs work by doing your own research, the better and the more custom rigs you can create, or even just take this rig and customize it the way you want it. What if it has wings? Well, you would need to add wings yourself. How do I do that? Well, now you know. So let's see. It has a tail, and so and so. The good thing about this, let's say, we can create, let's see, let's get, again, the quadruped guide, and let's create the rig from quadruped guide and select the skeleton spine. Then we'll get rid of the rig, of the guide. We have a rig with skeleton spine, a bone spine. We still have our bones to nulls script. If not, you can just load it up. Let's create a new layer called shadow bones, and select as default, select quadruped, and run our script. If you turn up default layer, we can see it work pretty well. So let's say if we're going to modify the rig, we can modify it to our using the guide. You can start, this will be like a really good starting point, and you can use that rig to animate. So even though you have shadow bones and your custom rigs when you use the character development tools, it's always good to know how to create your own shadow rigs.